Hi there, and welcome to Joseph Stories '07. Today's story isn't just about loss. It's about love that endures beyond memory, rituals that keep someone close, and the quiet strength it takes to carry on, one morning at a time. This is I Still Set the Table for Two, a heartbreaking story of love and loss. Let's begin. The porcelain plates, floral patterned and chipped in places, sat side by side on the crisp linen tablecloth. A knife, fork, and spoon gleamed beside each plate, reflecting the soft morning light streaming through the kitchen window. A single perfect rose, cut from the garden and placed in a delicate vase, adorned the center of the table. It was a ritual, a daily act of love and remembrance. I still set the table for two, even though only one of us remained to eat. Her name was Eleanor. She was vibrant, intelligent, and the kindest soul I had ever known. We met in college, a whirlwind romance sparked by shared laughter and a mutual love for old movies. We built a life together, a tapestry woven with shared dreams, quiet evenings, and the unwavering comfort of knowing we had each other. We traveled the world, explored hidden corners of our own city, and filled our home with the warmth of family and friends. Then the fog began to roll in. Subtle at first, like a morning mist, it obscured the sharp edges of Eleanor's memory. A forgotten name here, a misplaced key there. We dismissed it as simple aging, the occasional absent-mindedness that befalls us all. But the fog thickened. The mist turned to a dense, impenetrable cloud. The diagnosis came like a thunderclap. Alzheimer's disease. The initial shock gave way to a relentless wave of grief. I watched helpless as the woman I loved, the woman who was the bedrock of my existence, slowly slipped away. Her memories, the very essence of who she was, began to fade like old photographs left in the sun. The laughter lines around her eyes, once a testament to a life well lived, became etched with confusion and fear. I became her caregiver, a role I embraced with both love and trepidation. Our roles reversed. I became the parent, she the child. I bathed her, dressed her, fed her, and tried to soothe her when the fear and confusion overwhelmed her. There were moments of lucidity, fleeting glimpses of the Eleanor I knew and loved. These moments were like diamonds in the rough, precious and rare. I clung to them, cherishing them, knowing they would soon fade again. The setting of the table became my anchor, a way to hold on to the past, to keep Eleanor present in our home, in my heart. Even when she no longer recognized me, even when she struggled to speak, I continued the ritual. I would sit across from her, at the table set for two, and tell her stories. Stories of our travels, of our children, of the life we had built together. Sometimes a flicker of recognition would cross her face, a brief spark in the fading embers of her memory. Those moments were enough to keep me going. One morning, as I was setting the table, my daughter Sarah came into the kitchen. She was a constant source of support, a beacon of light in the darkness. She helped with Eleanor, offering respite and a listening ear when the burden became too heavy to bear. "Dad," she said softly, "why do you still do this?" "She doesn't even know who you are anymore." I looked at the table, at the two plates, the two sets of silverware, the single rose in the vase. I looked at my daughter, her eyes filled with concern and compassion. "I do it for me, Sarah," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "It's a way to remember, to honor her, to keep her spirit alive in this house. It's a way to hold on to the love we shared, the memories we made. And sometimes," I added, a glimmer of hope in my eyes, "sometimes I think she knows deep down that I'm here, that I still love her." Sarah came to me and wrapped her arms around me. We stood there, in the kitchen, surrounded by the ghosts of memories, bound together by love and loss. Eleanor passed away peacefully in her sleep. A few months later, the fog had finally lifted, and she was free. The house felt empty, silent, devoid of her laughter, her warmth, her presence. The grief was a crushing weight, almost unbearable. But I still set the table for two. Now, years later, the routine remains. People ask me why. Some think I'm stuck in the past, unable to move on. Others offer pity, assuming I'm simply lonely. They don't understand. It's not about denial. It's about preservation. Let me explain further. Each morning, the sun crests over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of rose and gold, much like the pattern on those cherished plates. I rise early, the familiar creak of the floorboards, a constant companion. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee fills the air, a scent that always brings a smile to my face, a subtle reminder of mornings shared, whispered conversations, and the gentle clinking of spoons against ceramic. I pull out the linen tablecloth, carefully smoothing out the wrinkles, each crease a map of years gone by. These aren't just wrinkles in fabric. They are timelines etched in cotton, marking anniversaries, birthdays, and countless Sunday brunches. The plates, chipped at the edges, bear witness to clumsy grandchildren, hurried weekday breakfasts, and celebratory feasts. Each imperfection tells a story, a silent narrative of a life fully lived. The silverware, polished to a high shine, reflects the morning light, mirroring the sparkle in Eleanor's eyes. I remember her meticulous attention to detail, her insistence on using only the finest silver for even the simplest meals. It wasn't about extravagance. It was about honoring the moment, about making the ordinary feel extraordinary. Each piece is more than just metal. It's a conduit to her presence. The single rose, always freshly cut from the garden, is a symbol of enduring love. Red, the color of passion and remembrance, a vibrant splash against the neutral tones of the kitchen. Eleanor loved roses. She said they represented the beauty and fragility of life, the delicate balance between joy and sorrow. I tend to them now, nurturing their growth, knowing that each bloom is a testament to her unwavering spirit. Setting the table isn't about setting a table. It's about creating a sacred space, a sanctuary where memories can breathe and love can linger. It's about connecting with Eleanor on a deeper level, beyond the limitations of time and space. It's about keeping her alive in my heart, in our home, in the very fabric of our existence. I know that some people find it strange, even morbid. They see it as a sign of my inability to let go, to move on with my life. But they don't understand the depth of my love for Eleanor, the profound impact she had on my soul. She wasn't just my wife. She was my partner, my confidant, my best friend, the very air I breathed. Losing her was like losing a part of myself, a vital organ that sustained my existence. The grief was a tidal wave, threatening to engulf me in its relentless sorrow. But I refused to drown. I clung to the memories, to the rituals, to the enduring power of love. The table setting is my life raft, my anchor in the storm. It's a way to navigate the turbulent waters of grief, to find solace in the familiar, to keep Eleanor's spirit afloat. It's not about living in the past. It's about honoring the past, about integrating it into the present, about shaping the future with the wisdom and love I learned from her. Sometimes I sit at the table and talk to her. I tell her about my day, about the children, about the grandchildren. I share my joys and my sorrows, my hopes and my fears. And in the silence that follows, I can almost hear her voice, a gentle whisper of encouragement, a quiet affirmation of her unwavering love. Other times, I simply sit in silence, gazing at the empty chair across from me, lost in a sea of memories. I remember her laughter, her smile, her touch. I remember the way she used to brush my hair back from my forehead, the way she would hold my hand during scary movies, the way she would always know how to make me feel better, no matter what. These memories are my treasures, my most prized possessions. They are the jewels that adorn my heart, the stars that light up my soul. And the table setting is the vault where I keep them safe, the sanctuary where I can revisit them whenever I need to feel her presence. One day, my grandson Leo asked me about the table setting. He was 8 years old, with bright, curious eyes and an insatiable thirst for knowledge. He had never met Eleanor, but he had heard countless stories about her. "Grandpa," he said, "why do you always set the table for two, even though Grandma isn't here?" I smiled at him, recognizing the genuine curiosity in his voice. I knew that he was old enough to understand, to grasp the essence of my ritual. "Leo," I said, "I set the table for two because Grandma is always here, in my heart. This table is a special place where we can remember her, where we can feel her love. It's a way to keep her spirit alive in our family." Leo looked at the table, at the two plates, the two sets of silverware, the single rose in the vase. He ran his small hand over the linen tablecloth, tracing the wrinkles with his fingers. "So she's still here, even though we can't see her?" he asked. "Yes, Leo," I said. "She's still here. She's in the stories we tell, in the memories we share, in the love that binds us together. She's in the sunshine, in the flowers, in the laughter of children. She's everywhere." Leo nodded, his eyes filled with understanding. He reached across the table and took my hand. "I miss her," he said softly. "I miss her too, Leo," I said. "But we'll always have her, as long as we keep her memory alive." That day, I realized that the table setting was more than just a personal ritual. It was a legacy, a way to pass on Eleanor's spirit to future generations. It was a way to teach my grandchildren about love, loss, and the enduring power of memory. And so, I will continue to set the table for two, every morning, for as long as I live. It is my way of honoring Eleanor, of keeping her memory alive, of celebrating the enduring power of love. It is my way of saying, "I still love you, Eleanor, and I always will." The scent of coffee still reminds me of her, a phantom aroma of a love that persists. The routine, the habit, has become inseparable from my being. It is a part of me, like a missing limb that continues to ache with a ghostly presence. The house feels different, without her physical presence, of course. The rooms are quieter, the corners darker. But in the kitchen, by that table, bathed in the soft morning light, I find a sliver of peace. I imagine her sitting there, across from me, her eyes sparkling with mischief, her hand reaching for mine. And in that moment, the ache subsides, replaced by a warm, familiar comfort. The Alzheimer's took so much, robbed us of time, of memories, of shared experiences. But it couldn't take the love. It couldn't erase the bond that connected our souls. That love remains, a beacon in the darkness, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. And so, I set the table, not in defiance of loss, but in celebration of love, not in denial of absence, but in affirmation of presence, not in mourning of what was, but in gratitude for what is, and what will always be. The setting of the table, once born of grief, has transformed into a sacred act of remembrance, a daily affirmation of love's enduring power. The ritual itself has evolved, taking on new layers of meaning with each passing year. It's no longer just about remembering Eleanor. It's about celebrating life, about embracing the present moment, about finding joy in the simple things. It's about appreciating the beauty that surrounds me, the warmth of the sun, the scent of the roses, the laughter of my grandchildren. It's about acknowledging the pain of loss, but refusing to let it define me. It's about choosing to live, to love, to find meaning and purpose in the face of adversity. It's about honoring Eleanor's legacy by living a life filled with compassion, kindness, and unwavering love. And so, as I carefully place the second plate on the table each morning, I whisper a silent prayer, a prayer of gratitude, a prayer of love, a prayer of remembrance. And in that moment, I feel Eleanor's presence, a gentle warmth that envelops me. a quiet affirmation that she is still with me, always and forever. The empty chair is no longer a symbol of absence, but a testament to an enduring presence, a reminder that love transcends time, space, and even death itself. The table is more than just a piece of furniture. It's a portal, a gateway to another dimension, a place where the past, present, and future converge. It's a place where I can connect with Eleanor on a deeper level, beyond the limitations of the physical world. It's a place where I can find solace, strength, and unwavering love. And so, I will continue to set the table for two every morning until my own time comes. It is my promise to Eleanor, my tribute to her enduring spirit, my testament to the enduring power of love. It is my way of saying, I still love you, Eleanor ... and I always will. The silver gleams, the linen whispers, and the rose unfolds, carrying with it a silent promise. A promise to remember, to cherish, and to love always. The sun rises, painting the kitchen in hues of gold, a silent benediction on a love that refuses to fade. Thank you for listening to this story of love, memory, and quiet resilience. If this touched your heart, you're not alone. We all carry someone with us, through routines, through remembrance, through love that doesn't end. If you know someone navigating loss or caregiving, share this story with them. And if you're setting a table for someone who's no longer there, know that love still lives in every plate, every memory, every sunrise. Please like, comment, and subscribe to Joseph Stories 07 for more stories that heal, connect, and remind us of what truly matters. Until next time, take care of your heart and each other.